What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. So this is part 2 of the Carlos King interview with Mariah Huq. And if you guys aren't familiar with Mariah Huq, she is the creator of Married to Medicine. So you can go back and watch the first video that I did with those two, Carlos and Mariah, in part 1. But their recap was really interesting because it picks up, of course, with a great cliffhanger because Carlos is an amazing executive producer and creator of shows. The whole Love and Marriage franchise is a brainchild of Carlos King, who started his career working on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So now he has evolved to becoming a creator of, executive producer, and he has his own entertainment company, Raindrops Entertainment. And he's also a blogger. Shout out to Dr. Simone. No, I kid, but he's doing great things. And so is Mariah, right? So they're in her studio in Georgia. And she said that she's, interested in returning back to reality TV, but we'll get there. So it picks up, part 2 picks up with him asking her that, or does she think basically, because he heard through the grapevine, does she agree that Dr. Jackie Walters is the villain on Married to Medicine? And she's like, absolutely. So that was where it left off last week. She said, absolutely. And she goes on to say that, she really looked up to Dr. Jackie when she, first started on the show. She handpicked the cast. And Dr. Jackie's response to her was, well, I didn't tell you to look up to me. And it's not funny, but I'm like, man, I don't know if it's Dr. Jackie's generation, because I know so many women who are like her, like the boomers. But I guess they were socialized not only to be anti-Black, right? Which is unfortunate because they didn't have social media, right? I'm going to extend some grace for a second. And Dr. Jackie's generation, she reminds me a lot of like older women that I saw when I was growing up in the church and schools, in my family, who, grew up watching, media, television that didn't look like them, internalizing a lot of anti-Black just culture, right, in America. And so they internalized a lot of that. I can see the same dynamic when it comes to the power dynamics that come with, in all demographics, right? In all demographics, whether like women have internalized misogyny. So I don't know if you ever met women who are like, I don't have any, women friends. It's only just about the men in my life. Dr. Jackie, she went on Dr. Heavenly's YouTube channel and basically said that she thinks that Black women cry wolf and that they're not really in pain. And that, of course, goes back to the dehumanization of Black women, not only in our culture, but that's a global phenomenon, unfortunately. So Mariah said, okay, she learned from that she's right, that she shouldn't have looked up to Dr. Jackie. That hurt her. But eventually, she moved forward after they iced her out of the show. And so now she said that she's, looking forward, onward and upward. She is, of course, buying the block, right, as she says, and she's building her creator studio. She said that she's looking forward to, doing projects of her own. Carlos asked her about what does she think about Sweet Tea? Was she being hazed as the new girl? And Mariah gave a really poignant answer, and she said, well, she would only be hazed if I thought that she was going to make the line. And that goes back to Greek life. So shout out to all the Greeks out there, the Divine Nine, and, any other Greek letter organization. I chose to bow out. I was invited and I was told about, the different sororities. No shade to anybody who's in a sorority or fraternity. But basically, hazing, it wasn't for me, right? And then being paper is another headache in and of itself. But basically, I feel like Sweet Tea is being hazed. And when I say hazed, I don't mean, any kind of like physical aspects. I'm talking about just the psychological warfare. It goes even beyond, being shady or reading or anything like that. But they're really disrespecting her. I don't know if because the other women are threatened by her or they just don't respect her because for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's because of her youth and because of her, she is a bit not maybe youthful naivete because she's not a doctor as well, but they don't treat Toya like that. But I feel like Toya is because she's been there from the beginning. Speaking of Toya, she also brought up the fact that Toya was the one person who people were telling her, you need to meet Toya Harris because she was the quintessential doctor's wife. And I agree, right? I feel like Toya, she embodies what I would consider a doctor's wife. She is very committed to, her children. She is a bit hard on Dr. Eugene. I feel like that's because she doesn't have a lot of things going for herself. And that's what Carlos said as well. He said that Toya reminded him of, his mother growing up in Detroit. He had, I believe, 10 other siblings, or either she had 10 children total. That's a lot. But she didn't have a lot going on for herself, right? And he said that, they both said that they think that Toya would do better, having her own projects. So Mariah was really happy to hear about her wine ventures and business that she's starting, because she does. Everybody needs something for themselves, like you can be a great, partner, mother, father, sister, brother, whatever it is, but you need something for you in order not to lose yourself. He also asked her, did she think that Quad being iced out and being essentially voted off the show was her karma for how she treated Mariah? They falsely accused her of, the booger sugar, and she actually talked to Dr. Jackie about it. And Dr. Jackie was the one that suggested her getting the hair sample to prove her innocence against the allegations. And so Mariah said, no, she doesn't think that was necessarily her karma. She said that she thought that Quad was a star and that, she pretty much wishes, Quad the best. So, which is great, because that's like when someone hurts you, that's the mature thing, right? Just wish them well from over there, right? Like just set that boundary. Be like, I could just appreciate you from afar. I was really happy to hear about the future that Carlos and Mariah said that, she said that she does miss being on TV and that she wants to return to reality TV. She said when she was initially, voted or iced out of the show, she said that she was angry and she was really no good to anybody. That's one thing I can appreciate about Mariah. She's very transparent and she's very open about, everything in her life and how she's feeling at the moment. But she said that now that she's taking the time to heal, right, that she's ready to come back. And so, she's like, I got some girls, I can, because if she did it once, she could do it again, right? Like if she created Married to Medicine and she is the creator, she still gets a cute coin and she still gets that creator credit from Bravo. She said, I can do it again. She said, I know girls, is giving Della Reese and Harlem Nights. That's why I'm laughing, because she's like, I got some girls, sunshine in them. But, they were laughing and Carlos was like, okay, Love and, Medicine Atlanta. And she's like, oh, you're already franchising, right? I love to see two creative people in their element, because she's like, we don't really need the gatekeepers. We don't need to rely on the big networks, right? They could actually do even a YouTube series. I would watch it. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you think that, would you be here for Love and Marriage, or not Love and Marriage, Love and Medicine Atlanta? And then of course, with Carlos being the franchise king, right, with reality TV, that he would franchise different cities. I would be here for it. But let me know your thoughts on part 2 of the Carlos King interview with Mariah Huq? Do you want to see her back on TV, or do you think that she would be better behind the camera? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please be sure also to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I will talk with you in the next video. Take care, Aces. Bye.